Hey everyone, welcome to Kingdom Builder TV. I'm your host, Jay Heilman. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have not one, but two special guests with me today here to talk about the brand new show that has premiered on BentKey, which is a part of Daily Wire Plus. I have Katy and Ryan Chase here from the show Wonderful Day with Mabel Maclay. How are you guys doing today?
Hello, we're good.
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for joining me. And we'll get right in it. You guys are a part of a show. Katy, you actually do most of the hosting for this show it's called A Wonderful Day with Mabel Maclay. And viewers that are watching right now might be wondering, what exactly is this show about? Can you tell us a little bit about your show?
Sure. Yes, it is inspired by Mr. Rogers and A Dash of Mary Poppins, all kinds of old inspirations in there from some of the classic shows we love.
And I threw a little Mr. Wizard's World in there for anybody from the early 80s.
We are people who love the way children's programming used to feel, and so we really wanted to create a show that felt like that and captured that sort of gentler pacing. And Mabel is a character that speaks to children in a way that is so calm and so loving and grounded. So that was our main vision for the show. She's joined by Jasper, her puppet dog, who's hilarious. And they do these creative projects together, and she goes on adventures out into the world to learn about things and wonder about things. And it's a show that celebrates the simple joy of wondering and encourages kids to keep asking questions.
That's awesome. And when I actually previewed the show with my own guest, my 6-year-old daughter Addison, and
Oh, awesome.
because I wanted to get her feedback. I'm like, okay, when I heard the premise of the show, I'm like, okay, Mr. Rogers with a dash of Mary Poppins. This is something perfect for my 6-year-old. So I watched it with her, and I think the one thing that she really liked was the incorporation of puppets, because I've actually showed her older episodes of Mr. Rogers, and she liked the Daniel the Tiger character especially. And of course, that was one of my favorite characters watching that show. But she loved it, and I'm like, this is the kind of children's entertainment that I really want to introduce her to, because unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that's really labeled these days for children have so much adult content and stuff incorporated in it. It's like, okay, is this really safe for my kids to watch? So I really enjoyed this, and I asked her after watching a couple episodes, I'm like, what do you think of that? And she's like, I love it. So
Oh,
Oh,
that is
man.
so sweet. It's so special for us to hear feedback from real kids. There's so much chatter about adult feedback, and I always kind of feel like, be quiet. I want to hear what the kids think. And gosh, that's so kind. I'm so glad she loved it. And God, I love the idea that we can trust children to sit with a gentler pace and everything. Like they really can enjoy
Oh,
shows that
yeah.
feel like this.
Yeah, and the same burden you were feeling, we all feel as parents where if your kid's like, oh, we're going to put this thing on, you have to go, have I seen that? Do I know about that? Oh, what, you know, besides the content of the show, oh my gosh, are there commercials? And you just think, oh man, I don't have time to preview hours of what you're about to possibly see in segments. Is something that you don't have to think about, that you can just go, oh, we can put that on, and we know there'll be something good there, nourishing, entertaining, that the kid can, your kids and hopefully the whole family could keep on and not have to worry about, and maybe be blessed by, and so we were very purposeful in that. We feel the same kind of burden of, all right, there's a lot of stuff out there trying to capture their eyes and minds and hearts, and so we just thought we'd try our best to make something that we would show our kids.
yeah, and honestly, when I was watching it, I really thought about, back to like how, like, I have my kids range in age from 6 to 24. So I have
Wow.
a variety of ages. I have five. So I have six, I got two 14-year-olds, a 17-year-old, and a 24-year-old. So I know that in the past, I've actually sat there and like, okay, well, I'm going to introduce my kids to some of the stuff that I watched. And having not really gone back and watched these kids movies
Oh,
in
sure.
a long
Oh, yeah.
time, I go back and watch them with them, and immediately I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I don't
Oh,
remember
yeah.
the cuss word being in there. I don't remember
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And as a Christian parent, I also look at things even more different, because even so-called kids programming kind of can, for me anyway, can kind of be conflictive with with my values and stuff as a Christian. So I really want my kids to be able to not only enjoy something that is safe for them to watch, but it has meaningful value. And the one thing that, when I actually watched the first couple episodes without her, because I was wanting to kind of see what A Wonderful Day with Mabel Maclay was about. And it really did remind me of me sitting down as a 6-year-old myself in the 1980s watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So one thing I remember about watching that show as a 6-year-old myself, and we're talking 36, 37 years ago, it's been a while, is I remember just the feeling I had when I would watch Fred Rogers on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood talk to the camera, and I almost felt as if he was talking to just me. And I absolutely love that. And that's an everlasting memory that I remember as a child growing up. And honestly, I have not been able to really find a whole lot of stuff for my kids to watch that are similar to that. So I really applaud you guys for putting this show together, because finally I've been able to find something that can really engage and do for my daughter what that did for me when I was growing up.
Thank you. That was absolutely the inspiration. And Katie, she has that magical quality, and she has that magical quality with kids, with our kids. And we had a kids, we taught kids for 10 years. We had our own kids improv studio in Los Angeles, and she was the magic, for all the monkeying around on stage I did. She really is the magic, and she can do that, connect with kids in that way, and impart that kind of gentle wisdom, sweetness, really connect with them on that level. And we were so when we were developing this show, that was absolutely it. We wanted to make sure the kid that is watching, in the same way with Rogers, is that they're talking straight to me, and I can write a letter and she can read it, and there's a connection there, and there's a trust there, and even that we knew would play into the why we don't have to chase them with fast edits and loud crazy sounds all the time, and CGI. We were just very we want it to be we trust that they would have the connection, they can make the connection, and that things that are practical, the special effects and things, that they'll go, oh, this is something I can touch, feel. Mabel's a real person. They're talking to me, and she understands some of the emotions I'm trying to understand and navigate as a kid. And so that was all very, very purposeful. I'm so glad you got that.
And it was so kind what you said. Thank you. Some of the feedback we've received that's been really surprising from parents is that they put on the first episode and were brought to tears. And it's not based on how that the show is perfect, or that certainly not that I'm perfect, but it's like they were feeling the feeling of simple human connection again, which is maybe something that's been lost in modern kids content with all the bells and whistles, but the simplicity of just the focus on connecting to that kid at home. And that's where our heart was. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. And I just, I actually had watched the movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and it kind of like delved more into his personal life and how he was. And it's like what you saw on screen was what he was like in person. I told my girlfriend, I said, I really wish I could have met him in my lifetime, because he seemed like such a person that I wanted to meet. And, watching your show, Katie, especially with your character, I noticed just the engagement with the viewer, which I really liked. And I really think Addison noticed that, because, she told me that she felt like you were talking to her, which I thought was cool. And of course, the puppets and stuff and everything else that's involved with the show. So as far as like from a parent's perspective and a kid's perspective, when parents watch this show, what exactly is it that you want them to take away the most from it after watching it? And then we'll get to like what you want the kids to take away from that perspective.
Well, I received a really, really kind compliment on set when we were shooting. One of the crew members, we were working hard every day, very long days, and it's mostly just me on the set talking for most of the show. So that was the bulk of our work day. And this woman came in one time and said, gosh, last night I was babysitting all my grandkids, and I found myself speaking like Mabel. And by that she meant, as she articulated it, was that she was so gentle, and so they were sort of ruffled for whatever reason, just kind of helping them regulate some big emotions with whatever was going on. But she found herself with this kind of calm tone because she had been in that all day and hearing Mabel's voice. And gosh, that's a huge huge compliment, and all I could wish for any parents watching. I hope that parents might take her sort of gentle spirit away from the show. And then for kids, Mabel ends every episode by going outside. She says goodbye. She's going to go enjoy the outdoors. So we hope kids might do that. And she always says, until we see each other again, remember there's always lots to keep wondering about. And off she goes to get fresh air, to go wonder about people and places and things outside. So our hope truly is that kids would turn off the show and go have fun wondering.
Yeah, that's really cool, and I really took away from that also. And there's really only one other show, aside from growing up with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, that I really feel that the goal of this show is similar to, and that's VeggieTales. My older kids grew up with VeggieTales, and just the reminders and stuff that show offered. And I've had the privilege to be able to interview both Phil Vischer and Mike Nawrocki about that series and just what their goals were when they first started it. But you guys are not only in front of the camera and doing voices and stuff and puppets and everything, but in real life, you guys are a husband-wife duo. What is it like working with your spouse? Because you guys clearly spend all the time at home, like everybody, other family does with their kids and stuff. What is it like working with each other as far as work goes on a show like this?
Well, it's good. We built a mother-in-law suite for our family therapist, and they live with us full time, and they feel like family. It's in the title. No, we we're kind of unique, I would say. And I mean, we don't know many other folks that we just always work together.
And we've always enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I know, so many of our friends are like, what are you thinking? I could never do that. And they have healthy, wonderful marriages, but that just would not work. And it just does for us.
Yeah, it worked out well. We actually met working. We were cast as husband and wife in a commercial 1 trillion years ago. And I said, hey, let's do that forever. And they were like, no, what are you saying? But we did. And then we had this kid studio we did for 10 years. And so it was never a transition. We were just always like, oh, we work together. That's what we do. And we, in the same way, I give her plenty of ability to exercise her Mabelness by, I'm so excited to be a dad, and I'm so overwhelmed with my love for my kids. They're just squeezed up and slobbered over and like, get away, Dad. So I get them all riled up, and then she can come in with the calm Mabelness. So it kind of works. It works on set. It works in our creative life, and it's I hate to say it. It sounds easy, but it really, we were just kind of made to do this together, it seems, and so we thank God for that.
It's true. We do sort of have a mom and dad's eye view on the show. Our work approach is that he tackles the fun stuff, like Mabel's amphicar that drives into the water and she goes fishing on, and all these cool gadgets with all these interesting parts that Ryan designed. So that's such a dad's eye view. And then I just really was so interested in Mabel's language and her words when Jasper is upset. How does she handle navigating him through these tricky moments?
Yeah, I knew that she would bring all the goods for the Mabelness of it. And so any of the nostalgia you were feeling watching the show, I was hyper focused on that way where you hear a new song and you find yourself singing it and you go, but this is a brand new song. It seems familiar. And I was feeling that for the whole development of the show, it's all unique, but it harkens back to something it seems familiar in a way. So it's not a carbon copy in any way. It's things that they seem familiar. And on the set, particularly, there's pictures of our grandparents, and there's all kinds of things weaved throughout that, little Easter eggs nobody would know. But yeah, things like the amphicar and you know, it's all old car parts on the Masterpiece machine, things like that. Even her old rotary phone on the wall, nobody would notice, you know. But that's stuff that I see, and I remember going to my grandmother's house and my great grandmother's house, and those, you know, unique experiences. And there they would have Rogers on, and those are the, you know, with their big wooden TV. That was a piece of furniture in itself, and so those memories, that feeling we wanted to incorporate, while also connecting and hopefully delivering something heartfelt and entertaining and nourishing for the viewer.
Yeah, and I definitely like the nostalgia factor too, because you know, obviously I joke with my friends who are all my age, like, you know, if we ever wanted to cripple the younger society, we just start writing in cursive and using rotary phones again, because they
Yeah.
would have no idea what to even do. So, but I really appreciate you guys coming by. And I touched on this in the beginning. The show is actually on BentKey, which is a part of Daily Wire Plus, a new like children's platform with a lot of programming on there. Where can people get more information on your show and be able to view that?
BentKey.com. It's a simple app to download. Even we figured it out, and we don't download a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, BentKey.com, and all the shows are in there. We've really enjoyed truly being customers of this product. It was such a big project beyond just our show, and to see how much content is there that our kids have been enjoying has been such a joy.
Oh yeah, just so many lovely, talented, amazing people involved in all the behind the scenes, not just our show, but of course our socks were blessed off by the folks that, you know, on every level of production. But yeah, same with BentKey and all their shows. And I believe, I think you, oh, they're doing their Saturday I love that. They're doing they're bringing back Saturday mornings. So they're rolling out that our show and the other shows. The new episodes air every Saturday morning. So something I grew up with in the 80s and 90s, the Saturday morning cartoons.
My favorite time of week.
Yeah,
Saturday
I love that.
cartoons. That was my
Yes.
favorite thing, and I do miss. And TGIF on Friday nights was the other thing. So, and they just don't have that kind of stuff now. But like I said, Addison really enjoyed watching that. She also enjoyed the Chip Chilla show that's on there, because she watches
Oh yeah.
on Disney. So she's like, this is kind of like Bluey, but with a chinchilla. So she really enjoyed both. So guys, keep up the great work, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm praying that the Lord can do big things with not only your show, but with just BentKey period, and just the children's programming and family oriented content they have on there. So Katy, Ryan, Chase, thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Great to meet you.